Hello and welcome to the OT Meeting Room. Happy Valentine's Day. It is February 14th, 2021, and I'm coming to you from sunny Buffalo, New York. It's cold though. And the reason I'm here is because I love sharing the creativities that I get to participate in. And currently, I am supervising a group of 4 level 2 occupational therapy assistant students for a campus-based field work. And this is a challenging field work. It's a little challenging for this group because it's virtual and we don't get to meet in person. And so a lot of things are very similar to being in the classroom space. And that's not as much fun for them. And so I thought, what could I do to help create a little relaxation, a little bit more fun, and then give them an idea for an intervention for self-care? So I just called a meeting the other day and I asked everybody to please come to the meeting with a piece of paper and their coloring utensils. And I shared with them the Kawa River Model. So I'm going to show that to you now because, this has been out there for a while. I don't know how many of you are using it. I don't know if you've ever used it. I know I've had it in the back of my mind to use, but I haven't specifically used it for anything in my occupational therapy practice. Well, now it's time because this is so cool. So there is a PDF download that you can get. It's Kawa Made Easy. And this is what the cover looks like. And this is the model that was developed by these two people, Tio JY and Iwama MK. And I just want to go over a little bit of this with you and tell you what happened because we had some magic happen and I think it's so cool. So the nice part about this is there's a nice introduction. So it's a very simple explanation and introduction into the model. And I wanted to talk about this quote by Charles Christensen that they included. And it says, "A functional life devoid of meaning is merely existence, not living. Robots perform tasks. People engage in life activities to create and derive meaning." And sometimes I think that we as OT practitioners, we get so wrapped up in the day-to-day, in the busyness of what it is that we're doing in our days while we're at work, if we have families and the part of our lives beyond work, and we start giving and giving and giving, and we're not really filling up our own cups. And we know that if we allow ourselves to become depleted, that we can experience burnout, we can experience compassion fatigue, and our jobs, they're not that much fun anymore. And so I pulled out the Kawa River Model and explained it briefly, and it's so simple and easy to understand. And Kawa is the Japanese word for river. The Kawa model uses the natural metaphor of a river to depict one's life journey. The varying and chronological experience of life is like a river, flowing from the highlands down to the ocean. Along its meandering path, the quality and character of its flow will vary from place to place, from instance to instance. Occupational therapists try to enable, assist, restore, and maximize their clients' life flow. What if we occupational therapied ourselves and we took a moment to look at our life flow from the Kawa River Model? So the nice thing is this can be used as a conceptual model of practice, a frame of reference, an assessment tool, and a modality. So it's so cool because you can use it in all of those ways. So the Kawa model can be used metaphorically in its original form of a river or in its underlying form of 5 interrelated constructs. And this is how we used it the other day when the 4 students and myself virtually worked on our rivers. We drew our rivers together, and then we had a sharing experience afterwards. So we used river flow to represent life flow and priorities. We used riverbanks to represent environments and contexts, social, physical, and others that are now added with the addition of the Occupational Therapy Practice Framework 4th edition. We used rocks to represent obstacles and challenges in our lives. We looked at driftwood as influencing factors and spaces as opportunities for enhancing flow. So we use the river model to represent in that moment our work-life balance. So as we were drawing, there was a sense of relaxation and camaraderie, even though pretty much everybody was quiet and working. Every once in a while, there were little comments that were made, and it was just a nice, relaxing experience. And afterwards, as we shared our insights, some of the comments that people made, like one person was really happy to be expressing themselves through art. I learned in that moment that this person is an artist. And I didn't know that. I've known this person for almost 2 years, and I didn't know they were an artist. Another person was able to look at aspects of their personality that they had perceived as being very negative, and they drew a second river and positioned those driftwoods, those aspects, in a different way to see themselves differently and how those parts of themselves could be used differently in any area of their life. And I noticed as I was drawing mine that I really felt like I was looking at my life from an aerial perspective. Now, the paper wasn't that much lower than my eyes were, but it's definitely a different perspective when you're drawing it out and trying to give it meaning from those items that are listed here in the model. And I noticed that many of the things that I have viewed as challenges over the course of my life actually have become stepping stones to other opportunities. Now, as my future has progressed and in the now moments, and it's phenomenal. So I just wanted to share with you this Kawa River model, and I will put a link to this model below. And I want to ask you to consider using this. So if you're struggling with your team, this is such a simple team building activity that you can do. And if you see that your team is struggling, is really what I meant to say. I mean, maybe you are struggling with your team. It certainly is not too far-fetched, because anytime there are departments and people are involved, there can be challenges. And it's definitely an OT perspective. It's definitely a way to get one's life in perspective, and you can use it for any topic. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you and give you an idea for something maybe a little bit different that can be used in these challenging times. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.